who was the culprit for this particular situation.
Right now, there's a $75,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in the case.
When I think about the community, I think about the time that I've been here. I've been in this community almost my entire adult life. So you get to know the people. When you know what they care about, then that's what you care about. This community looks at all of us who do weather here at WCNC Charlotte as part of their family. And when you're part of their family, you want to make sure you do it just for them.
First tonight, school calendar changes could finally be coming to North Carolina. A State House Select Committee is recommending the General Assembly change the law forcing districts to start school on that Monday closest to August 26th. You'll remember several school boards in our area have pushed back against that law, starting their school years weeks before it's technically allowed.
WCNC Charlotte's Mariah Morrison spoke with the committee chair about how quickly a change to the calendar law could happen.
Legislation about the state school calendar law is decades old, but recent districts' decisions to skirt the law just may be the push that lawmakers need to actually make a change to it. A North Carolina House Select Committee concluded the current school calendar law as is not in the best interest of students or educators.
As we consider this going forward is consolidation with the community college system calendar. So many of our kids are dual enrolled right now.
That would mean an earlier start date. But that's not what everyone wants. Gaston County Representative John Torbett chairs the select committee and has another idea.
I'm proposing that we go to a holiday type calendar, which is Memorial to Labor Day. I initially had that language in the document, but I did pull it late last week because it was just too finite.
Representative Torbett says starting school a little later and tightening up required school days is a step to transforming education to work for kids.
The children would be inundated with learning that core curriculum, and so you can compress more information in a smaller amount of time. And that information in a smaller amount of time would be better useful information than they currently get.
His plan may lead again to a required start and stop date.
I think we need to have a statewide calendar so we can equally make sure that each and every child is meeting the same type of growth and achievement that's required in the future workforce or in the future of professional training in one field of venture or another.
It's not exactly clear how popular Torbett's proposed change to the school calendar law would be with local districts. Many of them are advocating for school start dates to be earlier or to give local school districts the authority to make them start when they would like to within better reason. Shamaria Morrison, WCNC Charlotte.
While Cabarrus County prosecutors handed out unusual, lenient deals to some accused speeders, public records suggest their boss, a now retired district attorney, netting more than $140,000 a year, rarely came to the office to physically oversee her staff. This discovery follows an August WCNC Charlotte investigation where our Nate Morabito uncovered the practice gave big breaks to defendants with certain representation, mostly to one particular lawyer. Our reporting sparked an ongoing North Carolina State Bar investigation. And in tonight's Where's the Money report, Nate dives into the outrage over this latest development.
District Attorney Roxanne Vanikoven retired just days after we requested her building access records, data that shows just how infrequently she swiped her badge to get into her workplace at the courthouse. Interstate 85. The scene of a near crash where a state trooper clocked a teen driving almost 30 miles an hour over the speed limit. Court records show the Cabarrus County DA's office dismissed all of the driver's charges just a week later. In return, the teenager agreed to plead guilty to a non-moving violation. She kept her license and paid a reduced fine. Not even 4 months later, another trooper said he clocked the same teenage girl driving even faster.
It's infuriating. It should be infuriating to every citizen who got a ticket there.
Aaron Lee says he's outraged by what WCNC Charlotte discovered.
It's not the justice I stand for.
Unequal justice that played out in Cabarrus County Traffic Court during the pandemic.
You ever get one of those deals? I never got a single deal.
We identified special deals reserved for only certain attorneys. Plea deals that prevented accused reckless drivers from losing their licenses, paying big fines, or having convictions on their driving records.
These are the dates the DA was in the office, according to her badge swipes. Wow.
And the practice took place at a time the then district attorney, Roxanne Vanikoven,
I have never personally seen her in the courthouse.
Wasn't around all that much.
Either way, it doesn't look good for her that this happened either under her nose or on her watch.
Courthouse access data show in the 14 months leading up to Vanikoven's retirement, the elected public servant swiped her badge to get into the office just 46 times. On average, less than once a week, and was absent most of 2022, only regularly returning in the weeks leading up to our initial investigation and her retirement.
What's your level of concern?
My level of concern for the administration of justice in Cabarrus County is high.
Cabarrus County has remained on the radar of the ACLU of North Carolina for some time now.
There really is this history that I think is particularly insidious.
Daniel Bose says the county has a reputation for disproportionately saddling black traffic court defendants with fines and fees, which, when unpaid, result in suspended licenses.
People didn't feel like they were being treated fairly.
He says since state law gives prosecutors so much discretion, there's little oversight.
Who does a DA answer to?
So it really is hard to say right now. In North Carolina.
Vanikoven has declined our repeated interview requests. In a statement, the now retired DA conceded she worked remotely due to COVID for most of 2022. First after she fell ill herself, and then as she served as the primary caretaker for her ex-husband, who was hospitalized with the virus for several months. During that extremely difficult and trying time, she said she used technology to attend work-related meetings, took home case files, and relied on phone calls, emails, text messages, and meetings outside of the courthouse to fulfill her administrative and managerial tasks. She did not, however, explain her work activity in 2021. Only previously noting the badge data does not accurately represent her attendance, saying she often walked through the front door or a side door held by a coworker, neither of which required her to swipe her badge.
This is a shadow on Cabarrus County and its judicial system, which I'm a member of, and it's insulting and embarrassing.
Lee is not among the 23 lawyers who, citing WCNC Charlotte's reporting, signed a notice of concern calling for an investigation, but says he shares their concerns.
The optics are terrible across the board.
The DA previously downplayed our initial discovery. Not only is the state bar now investigating, we've since confirmed multiple cases where favorable deals allowed accused speeders to drive away with a slap on the wrist, only for law enforcement to catch them speeding once again. Vanikoven's term as DA was originally supposed to run through the end of this year, but she retired at the end of August. She told us she set her retirement into motion in May, shortly after her ex-husband's release from the hospital. Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.
Where's the money? WCNC Charlotte.
Where's the money really is about leveling the playing field. It's about helping others and breaking down barriers. We don't want our viewers to be taken advantage of, so we're here to help.
See the difference.
We see ourselves as a resource for the community. A lot of times when people get to us, they've tried all kinds of other alternatives. They've knocked on doors that haven't been answered, or they go to places where there aren't doors. We create openings for them, and that's what we do with Where's the Money.
Switching gears now to your forecast. Once again, live pictures from Freedom Boat Club up in Davidson. Always a pretty sight, but certainly cloudy out there and definitely chilly. KJ brings us the forecast right now. KJ, yeah, a cold, cloudy, but Thursday looks even worse.
That's right, Ben. So we'll have to take advantage of the dry weather now, despite the cloud cover. Yes, it is cold out there as well. Temperatures at 41 coming in right now as we look live over the Queen City. And yeah, this is the difference compared to yesterday. We are 11 degrees cooler right now at the lunch hour in Charlotte, the same in Monroe, the same in Lincolnton, 10 degrees cooler in Hickory. So that means you'll need your coats for this afternoon if you're going to be out and about, and some of you perhaps a scarf and a hat as well, because temperatures will warm up today and we'll see more sunshine into the afternoon, but that's a short window. We're coming up on noon as well, and by 3 o'clock we'll have more sunshine. We may get a 10-degree increase this afternoon, but then sunset around 5 o'clock, and then those temperatures will cool back off into the 30s by dinner time, and then low and mid 30s overnight into the start of your day tomorrow. And yes, we are looking towards a wet midweek. Wednesday as well as Thursday, we could pick up 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, which may lead to some flooding concerns out there. So be mindful of it as you will be out and about over the next couple of days. I want to break down the potential rainfall as well. For Wednesday, we do have some scattered showers possible. Thursday looks to be the wettest of the next 2 days. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll have drier weather, also sunny weather. But just wait to see the trade-off on that 7-day forecast because temperatures are going down. Here's an outlook right now as we look at those weather headlines. Soggy the next 2 days, but get ready for a nice sunny weekend. Lots of events happening in and around town. Here's Futurecast. So right now we do have the cloud cover in place, but notice how those clouds will begin to break up as we move into your afternoon. Temperatures won't respond a whole lot today. Tomorrow morning, a cloudy start once again at 8 a.m. By tomorrow afternoon, between 3, 4, and 5 o'clock, that evening rush, we'll likely have some showers across the area. Right now, they are timing out for afternoon in terms of the intensity of the rainfall. Not too heavy, perhaps some light showers tomorrow afternoon, but that will change into your Thursday, beginning with the Thursday morning rush into the Thursday afternoon. Into your Thursday afternoon, we'll have scattered showers. Some of them will be steady, perhaps even heavy rain for the first part of your day on Thursday. The flood risk. Right now it is primarily to our west. Some of you in the foothills as well over into the mountains will have a low to medium risk for some flooding to occur. So be mindful of just some of those typical trouble spots when we get a heavy rain event on some of those roadways that you may have to work around. So add that extra time to your drive in the event we do get some of those heavier showers to set up. Your weekend outlook looks to be pretty bright compared to this past weekend. However, there's the trade-off, right? Temperatures will be much cooler. Overnight lows will be below freezing in the upper 20s and low 30s. Both nights, highs will be below 50 as well. That'll put us below average for your Saturday and Sunday. Guy Roof and 7-day forecast. Looking forward to the Panthers back at home this weekend. We'll need those coats as well as we'll be headed out to Bank of America Stadium with highs in the upper 40s. Here's Larry with that.
Shutdown, but Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is optimistic that a stopgap bill will be passed to fund the government another week. Now the clock is ticking to get both Democrats and Republicans on board with that plan. Wake Up Charlotte's Bree Jackson has the latest from our nation's capital.
Ben, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says lawmakers have had productive conversations and are moving toward a spending deal. But the two parties are about $26 billion apart on how much to spend. History will be made at the White House this afternoon when President Biden signs the landmark Respect for Marriage Act, giving federal protections to same-sex and interracial couples.
The president will also note that there is much more work to be done to protect the LGBTQI+ individuals across the country.
The bill passed Congress with bipartisan support. Now, lawmakers must come together again this week or face a government shutdown. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is pushing for swift action on a short-term fix.
A 1-week CR, so we can give appropriators more time to finish a full funding bill before the holidays.
The two sides are at odds over how much to spend. Top Republicans are pushing for more military funding.
If our Democratic colleagues can't accept those realities, the option will be a short-term bipartisan funding bill into early next year.
Punting the government spending bill until January gives Republicans time to take control of the House and rewrite it. The Biden administration is urging Congress to use their negotiating time wisely.
We believe on the government funding, we believe there is still enough time to get that done.
Congress has until Friday to reach a deal to avert a partial government shutdown. Senate leaders also want to attach provisions to the funding bill, including a major overhaul of election laws aimed at preventing another January 6th. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for Wake Up Charlotte.
Lancaster County Sheriff's Office says that it has arrested a man who killed the mother of his children. Authorities say they arrested Hurley Brady after neighbors told them 4 kids ran into their house saying their father shot their mother. This all happening just before noon on Sunday on West 3rd Street in Kershaw. Really cool story here. A Charlotte science teacher is celebrating a big honor today.
Charlotte Magazine has named Huntington Farms Elementary School science teacher Nancy Bullard a Charlottean of the Year. Bullard has connected with millions of on TikTok with cool at-home science experiments for kids. WCNC Charlotte's Mariah Morrison shares how Bullard's TikTok experience is keeping her in the classroom at a time when many are leaving.
Tracy Bullard is a science teacher who found a way to bring science into everyone's living rooms and their kitchens. What started off as a way to teach during the pandemic has now blossomed into 3 million followers on TikTok.
Right now, you can clearly see the water beads, but when I add water, the water beads disappear and the snowflakes become visible.
13, 12, 11, and 34 million. Those are just some of the views on a single video of Bullard's.
I still don't think I'm TikTok famous. I just still tell people I'm just a teacher. I just have a lot of students.
Some would beg to differ. Her classroom is filled with baking soda, acid, microscopes, and hair conditioner? I'm curious about the Tresemme that's up there, the conditioner.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Yep, so I have an experiment where you can mix some conditioner and baking soda and it makes this really awesome, great smelling fake snow. And you can
Bullard's face is on the cover of Charlotte Magazine for her accomplishments, but she says she represents thousands of teachers.
I am on the cover of the magazine. It is my picture and the story is about me. But I don't want the message to get lost. We could put any teacher's face on the front of that magazine, and we could write an article about any teacher in this school, in this district, and the message would remain.
While she has millions of students online, she's invaluable to those right here in her classroom.
She encourages people to do something that might make them a little uncomfortable, and that is a great thing for educators.
Bullard said she has no plans to be a full-time content creator.
Our teachers are kind of leaving in droves over the last 2 years. We've seen that. To me, that makes me want to stay here more than ever. I know that what I'm doing is important, and I don't want to be anywhere else in the world. I am meant to be the science lab teacher here.
The 4th-generation North Carolina public school teacher says the tradition is one she does not plan to break.
Thanks for stopping by.
Shamaria Morrison, WCNC Charlotte.
'Tis the season for Christmas shopping, and as pet owners pick up toys for their furry friends, some are wondering if one type may contain hidden dangers. Wake Up Charlotte's Megan Bragg has your Verify fact check.
It's this social media post that's gaining a lot of traction this holiday season, a warning against buying rawhides for your pets, saying they're dangerous. So let's get the facts. Our source is Dr. Fred Winninger, animal neurologist for Care in Charlotte, And the American Kennel Club. Rawhides are chews for pets made out of dried animal byproducts. There are many different brands on the market. When it comes to whether these products are safe for your dogs, Dr. Winninger says it depends.
It depends on how they chew them. So if they chew them into little pieces, it wouldn't be nearly as dangerous as those dogs that like to just gobble them right up.
The American Kennel Club agrees the danger level hinges on your dog's chewing style. They explain rawhides are meant to be long-lasting chews that break down slowly over time. Dr. Winninger says if your dog breaks them into big pieces, that's when it can become a hazard.
On occasion, they can cause some problems. The primary one is going to be obstruction of the intestines or even perforation of the intestines.
Dr. Winninger says if your dog has a sensitive stomach, it's also best to stay away and give your pet a softer bone.
The best things that you can do is monitor them while they're eating those toys or chewing on those toys.
So if your dog is sensitive or breaks off big pieces, rawhides might not be the best choice for your dog. Dr. Winninger says for most dogs, they are safe. The American Kennel Club also suggests getting rawhides that are proportionate size for your dog. And if big pieces of rawhide are lying around, pick them up to prevent your pup from trying to swallow them. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
WCNC Charlotte.
Weather is a kind of science that you get to see and experience every day. And I think some people don't even realize how much it affects them. That weather has a huge impact on how it threatens your family, your livelihood, or your home. So I think it really is one of those defining things we do that really affects everybody in our community.
See the difference.
That process of giving you a warning ahead of time and keeping you and your family safe is really important to me because I live here too. It's my family, it's my friends, it's my neighbors.
New tonight, a man who made national headlines after being charged with murdering a North Carolina toddler has pleaded guilty. Earl Kimry was charged with the first-degree murder of 3-year-old Mariah Woods in 2017. He was the live-in boyfriend of Mariah's mother at the time of her disappearance. That disappearance sparked a massive search effort. Her body was found days later. Kimry pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Meanwhile, some TikTok users are using the app to save money. WCNC Charlotte's Carolyn Bruck explains.
The TikTok crowd turning to an unlikely source to save some cash. I'm Carolyn Bruck, and this is your Where's the Money Minute. The American Association of Retired Persons, now just called AARP. But don't let that original moniker fool you. AARP isn't just for people 50 plus. It's now gaining popularity among the youngins. If you're like me, you probably assumed you had to be of a certain age to become a member of the nation's largest nonprofit advocating for the older generation. But nope. You can be any age to join and reap the benefits. And that's exactly what 20-somethings are doing. The Wall Street Journal finding the younger crowd becoming new card carriers in an effort to snag discounts amid inflation. And by the way, those discounts are vast. AARP members save money on restaurants, hotels, rental cars, cell phone service, shipping costs, eye exams, you name it. And with membership priced at just $12 the first year and $16 a year after that, it makes sense why people, no matter their age, are joining. Now, it is important to note there are certain benefits reserved just for members who are 50 and above, but those are just the age-restricted ones, like certain insurance products. With your Where's the Money Minute, I'm Carolyn Bruck.
Life can be confusing. News doesn't have to be. By connecting the dots, we piece things together to literally make the news make sense. It's so important with what we do that we go beyond the headlines and we explain sort of the story behind those headlines. And that's what you can get from Connect the Dots. It's the why of that news you're hearing about. Well, right now, new details emerging about WNBA star Brittney Griner's return to the U.S. Griner's arrival has been celebrated across the country, but not everybody is thrilled with who the U.S. let go in the prisoner exchange. Wake Up Charlotte's Drew Petrimo reports from Washington.
Ben, we are now hearing from an official who was on that plane with Brittney Griner as she made her way back to the U.S. This was the scene inside the plane as Brittney Griner made her way from a Russian penal colony back home to the U.S. Finally on American soil, Griner posing with her wife and a government official who spent months on the team negotiating her release.
She jumped on the plane and went right to saying hi to everyone, making it
personal connection, shaking hands, saying thank you. I found someone who was just absolutely wonderful, kind, generous, interesting, and above all, authentic.
As family, friends, and supporters celebrate Griner's return after nearly a year in Russian captivity, there's also concern over the deal that secured her freedom. Griner was traded for Victor Bout, a notorious Russian arms dealer.
We're glad she's home, but we have to recognize wide-eyed that right now as Americans we have made it clear that we are willing to do anything to bring a single American home, and there are people that are watching that.
I think anytime we can get an American out of jail that's imprisoned improperly, I think we all celebrate that, and we need to continue to work to get the other folks out too.
Some worry the deal will lead to more Americans being taken captive overseas. Others, concerned Bout, will pick up where he left off.
If Mr. Bout decides to go back to his previous line of work, then we're going to do what we need to do to hold him accountable and to protect our interests.
U.S. officials say any threats Bout might pose are manageable and that they're focused on bringing home more wrongfully detained Americans. Now that Griner is back in the U.S., she says she's going to use a foundation set up to help get her home to help other Americans stuck in similar situations. Reporting from Washington, I'm Drew Petrimo. Wake Up Charlotte.
Tonight, the town of Matthews is hoping to address concerns over a new development project head on.
Neighbors there think the new Santee Matthews project will create a traffic nightmare. And now plans are in the works for a roundabout on Idlewild Road near the 485 interchanges. Our Julia Kaufman tells us how the plan could impact traffic and the massive development that could be coming right next door.
Traffic has been a major concern for residents near Idlewild Road for years. Here at Matthews Town Hall, new plans by the developer of Santee Matthews and NCDOT hoping to alleviate some of those backups.
To say that roundabout don't work, that's not true. Roundabout does work.
Residents and leaders of the town of Matthews going in circles over whether roundabouts help traffic flow.
We don't want no apartments, no commercial, no roundabout.
Some worry possible future developments and road changes will only lead to more density. Town engineer Susan Woolard says the future roundabout needs final approval, but would prevent commuters from sitting at traffic lights.
It's processing more vehicles. So you're moving.
The new roundabout plans forcing developer Peter Pappas to go back to the drawing board for the proposed Santee Matthews mixed-use development.
We know this plan represents a great deal of change, but it also represents a great opportunity to create from scratch a new transportation network.
His new plan redirects Stallings Road through the property to feed into the future roundabout at Davis Trace Drive.
The modified proposal by them as well is still unacceptable.
After dozens of complaints, Pappas has agreed to reduce the number of units and commercial spaces in the plan, resulting in a 32% reduction in future traffic from the property.
We're going to work with NCDOT to accelerate the roundabout construction.
If this roundabout is approved, town staff say construction wouldn't start until 2028. In Matthews, Julia Kaufman, WCNC Charlotte.
Switching gears now to your forecast. Once again, live pictures from Freedom Boat Club up in Davidson. Always a pretty sight, but certainly cloudy out there and definitely chilly. KJ brings us the forecast right now. KJ, yeah, a cold, cloudy, but Thursday looks even worse.
That's right, Ben. So we'll have to take advantage of the dry weather now, despite the cloud cover. Yes, it is cold out there as well. Temperatures at 41 coming in right now as we look live over the Queen City. And yeah, this is the difference compared to yesterday. We are 11 degrees cooler right now at the lunch hour in Charlotte, the same in Monroe, the same in Lincolnton, 10 degrees cooler in Hickory. So that means you'll need your coats for this afternoon if you're going to be out and about, and some of you perhaps a scarf and a hat as well, because temperatures will warm up today and we'll see more sunshine into the afternoon, but that's a short window. We're coming up on noon as well, and by 3 o'clock we'll have more sunshine. We may get a 10-degree increase this afternoon, but then sunset around 5 o'clock, and then those temperatures will cool back off into the 30s by dinner time, and then low and mid 30s overnight into the start of your day tomorrow. And yes, we are looking towards a wet midweek. Wednesday as well Thursday, we could pick up 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, which may lead to some flooding concerns out there. So be mindful of it as you will be out and about over the next couple of days. I want to break down the potential rainfall as well. For Wednesday, we do have some scattered showers possible. Thursday looks to be the wettest of the next 2 days. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll have drier weather, also sunny weather. But just wait to see the trade-off on that 7-day forecast because temperatures are going down. Here's an outlook right now as we look at those weather headlines. Soggy the next 2 days, but get ready for a nice sunny weekend. Lots of events happening in and around town. Here's Futurecast. So right now we do have the cloud cover in place, but notice how those clouds will begin to break up as we move into your afternoon. Temperatures won't respond a whole lot today. Tomorrow morning, a cloudy start once again at 8 a.m. By tomorrow afternoon, between 3, 4, and 5 o'clock, that evening rush will likely have some showers across the area. Right now, they are timing out for afternoon in terms of the intensity of the rainfall. Not too heavy, perhaps some light showers tomorrow afternoon, but that will change into your Thursday, beginning with the Thursday morning rush into the Thursday afternoon. Into your Thursday afternoon, we'll have scattered showers. Some of them will be steady, perhaps even heavy rain for the first part of your day on Thursday. The flood risk. Right now it is primarily to our west. Some of you in the foothills as well over into the mountains will have a low to medium risk for some flooding to occur. So be mindful of just some of those typical trouble spots when we get a heavy rain event on some of those roadways that you may have to work around. So add that extra time to your drive in the event we do get some of those heavier showers to set up. Your weekend outlook looks to be pretty bright compared to this past weekend. However, there's the trade-off, right? Temperatures will be much cooler. Overnight lows will be below freezing in the upper 20s and low 30s. Both nights, highs will be below 50 as well. That'll put us below average for your Saturday and Sunday. Guy Roof and 7-day forecast. Looking forward to the Panthers back at home this weekend. We'll need those coats as well as we'll be headed out to Bank of America Stadium with highs in the upper 40s. Here's Larry with that.
The Geminid meteor shower currently active, and the peak is exactly a week from today. This is one of the best shows of the year, so Chris Mulcahy is talking meteors in this Weather IQ.
NASA calls this meteor shower one of the best and most reliable meteor showers. Let's learn everything you need to know about the Geminids in this week's Weather IQ. Meteor showers get their name from the constellation in which they radiate from. The Geminid meteor shower has a radiant from the constellation Gemini. The reason why we see this meteor shower is because as the Earth revolves around the sun, it passes annually through the leftover dust and debris from this asteroid, which is 3 miles wide. As those chunks of debris enter the Earth's atmosphere, they vaporize, creating these shows of streaking light. Quick lesson to clear up some confusion. A meteor is what's seen burning up in the atmosphere. Before it enters, it's called a meteoroid, and if it reaches the ground, it's a meteorite. Okay, back to the best show of the year. The Geminids typically happen between December 4th and the 17th, but will peak early morning on December 14th. The most active time should be around 2 a.m., but the radiant will rise up through the evening and set later in the morning. To view this meteor shower, start with finding Gemini, which is located right above Orion. So find Orion's belt, and you're looking at the right place. But only start here, because meteors can be seen all across the sky. Here's the downside. This year's meteor shower will be limited by the moon, being 70% illuminated. But the Geminids are so bright that it can still be seen. So expect up to 75 meteors per hour at the peak. So happy wishes, everyone. We just raised our meteor IQ.
WCNC Charlotte. This is Flashpoint.
Thanks for joining us here on Flashpoint. I'm Ben Thompson. This week, a lot of new faces will join CMS's Board of Education. It all comes after 3 incumbents lost their seats in the historic November election. And they'll have a lot to tackle, from falling test scores to the search for a new superintendent. It all comes as the district's interim leader, Hugh Hadabaugh, set to step down at the end of this month. CMS now looking for its 6th superintendent in less than 10 years. This morning you'll hear from 2 of the 5 newly elected school board members. They've nicknamed themselves the Fresh Five. Joining us now, CMS board member-elect Lisa Klein. Come Tuesday, she's going to represent the district, 5th district, which includes most of South Charlotte and Matthews. Lisa, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you won a close race by a few thousand votes. With all these new faces coming onto the board, What do you think that in and of itself signals about where CMS stands going into next year?
Well, I think it signals a change from what the community wants. They wanted change. And we call ourselves Fresh Five. You know, we've been calling ourselves different things, but I think it's the community wants change, and then we are the agents of that change, and we have to listen to what the community wants. We're striving now, doing a lot of team building, meeting together, because we can meet until we become board members, and just building that collegial spirit that is needed to do what needs to be done in the community, for the community and for the children.
To that point, you sort of had a lot of different grassroots organizations that backed you in your campaign. How would you describe, who are you going to be the voice for on the board?
I like to think that I'm the voice not only for the children and the parents, but I have a unique perspective as being an educator, and 29 plus years in CMS and 40 years of just education in general. So I like to think I'm going to be a combination. I have a lot of students that are now parents in the district, and I hope that I continue to be that voice, because it's got to be a common sense approach to what we're doing, and we've gotten away from that. I was a history teacher and in CMS, along with being a foreign language teacher. And I like to look at the history of CMS and look at how what changes occurred and what's broken down in the past few years and how we can get back on track. So I like to think that I'm going to be that voice of everybody. And yes, it was a grassroots effort.
You all are going to be doing a juggling act. There's going to be a lot of different priorities you have. Treat this like a triage situation. What would be your number one or number two priority, knowing that, and I'm going to get to this, there's a superintendent selection that's going to have to happen. But aside from that, for just a second, what do you feel like is your biggest one or two priorities?
Well, I started already getting the parent phone calls and the parent emails. We're looking at redistricting. The school district goes through a redistricting and realignment of lines every 6 years. And in South Charlotte, there is a high school relief that's opening up off of Johnston Road and North Community House. So that is going to be a major priority, because we've got to look at that and get it right. I mean, for so long, the district's drawn lines here, there, and right now we have to get it right for this next group and for this next 6 years. So that is a priority. And of course, everybody knows that the number one thing is the superintendent, and we have to get that right. And we've got to have that person in place during by the beginning of school. So that's number one. And number two for me, and I'm very fortunate with Summer Nunn, who is District 6. We've been going to a lot of meetings, and other board members have been joining us to see what is needed in this area, because it's not just South Charlotte, it's going to affect everybody, and we want to make it right.
Back to the superintendent search. In your mind, what are you going to be looking for in the ideal candidate?
You know, I've sat in a lot of the community-based surveys, and that, I don't know if you can find that perfect person. It's going to be hard. I was fortunate to work under some really good superintendents. I worked under John Murphy. That shows you how long I've been in the district. Eric Smith, Peter Gorman, James Cusley, Francis Haycock. So I'd like to find a combination of everybody like that, who can be charismatic, who can reach the community, who can bring us together, and then on top of that, make sure that we are closing the gap, because at one time we were on course and we've gotten off course, and we've got to
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there because you say we've gotten off course. Since, say, Peter Gorman, which was 2007, 2008, we have had a list of superintendents. What do you think has gone wrong in the selection process in that 10, 15-year time span?
One of the things I think is that they didn't really understand Mecklenburg County. And Mecklenburg County is huge and it keeps growing. And the culture of the unique culture of our community and how to bridge those gaps, because the west side is very different from the east side and the north and the south. You've got to find somebody who can understand that. And while you're focusing on one area, not forgetting. And I think sometimes we zero in on one thing, and you still have all these other things going on. So you've got to have a good support system. And they didn't have that. And the other thing that, and I'm on record, I want a superintendent that's not using Mecklenburg County and CMS as the stepping stone for something better. They can't have 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out. So I'm really going to push that as part of their contract. I don't know if I can do that or not.
Sure.
Hopefully we can. That they are committed to CMS for minimum of 3 years, hopefully 5 years, without consulting, not using us as, hey, I'm doing such a great job here. Let me promote myself to something bigger and better.
As a springboard.
They've got any commitment.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right, take care. We speak to another new member of the CMS board coming up after this.
UNC Charlotte has confirmed mold has been found in some of its dorm rooms. The university tells us after investigations, it discovered 2 cases of mold in dorm rooms. Campus officials say they took care of the cases quickly and that air quality tests showed no lingering evidence of mold in the residence halls. The university's Housing and Residence Life says students who find mold in their rooms can submit a maintenance request to have it addressed. All right, well, incredible new video today of the lunar surface recorded by the Artemis mission. The uncrewed Orion spacecraft came within about 80 miles of the lunar surface this morning, and it captured these images. Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich explains the significance of today's mission milestone.
These are images like of which we have not seen for over 50 years. Now, new video today from the Orion capsule in the Artemis 1 mission made its closest pass to the moon during its 25-day mission. It flew by the moon just 80 miles above the lunar surface. NASA beamed back these pictures.
And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
After many attempts, Artemis finally launched last Wednesday from Florida. The test mission has no human crew. Instead, there's mannequins aboard, are recording data to indicate whether the flight will be safe for humans on future flights. Over the next 6 days, the spacecraft will circle the moon. The orbit will take the spacecraft deeper into space than any previous vehicle rated for human flight. Orion will make one more pass of the moon before returning to Earth and splashing down in the Pacific on December 11th.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of tests, I mean, those mannequins aren't there just for looks. There are actually all kinds of sensors to sense the vibrations, the G-forces, the radiation. And then the key part here is probably the most important part is going to come on December 11th when they make the splashdown. They haven't tested the heat shield on the bottom of this, and it's super thin.
Oh boy.
And it's the biggest heat shield ever created for that Orion capsule. So that'll be an important day when it comes down. We'll see if it protects the crew in there or the mannequins.
The mannequins.
Mannequins. It's kind of funny that they're. But there's a lot of experiments going on. Really cool mission, and it's a short mission. If they would have launched earlier in September, it would have been like a 40-day mission. Mm-hmm. Because of the launch here just last week, it's only a 25.5-day mission.
Is it because they launched late?
Yeah, it's all about the orbital track that it takes. So it's a much shorter mission because they're doing it later in the year. Yeah. So it's gonna be cool. I can't wait to see it come back.
North Carolina wildlife officials are urging more testing as deer continue to test positive for a deadly disease. That disease first detected back in March in the northwest region of the state. So now officials say hunters must submit their deer heads for mandatory testing. They say that staying up to date on this testing has been successful, and so this will remain in effect for the primary surveillance area until January. A Charlotte family is facing a heartbreaking and unthinkable situation. The couple trying to bring their British niece to live with them after she lost both of her parents within a year.
But because she is 16 years old, the U.S. won't allow it, leaving the orphan teen to live on her own. WCNC Charlotte's Michelle Bowden shows us how the couple is seeking solutions to this predicament and willing to try almost anything.
It sounds unbelievable. A teen with a loving family hoping to take care of her and bring here to Charlotte left on her own overseas because of immigration laws.
This is our bedroom.
Arun Kalakadival shows us around the empty bedroom that is all set and just waiting for his 16-year-old niece.
We never thought anything like this would ever happen to any child or any family. It's been devastating.
Married for 20 years, he and his wife Sushila were extremely close with her sister and brother-in-law and their daughter, Pramiti.
All through our, 20 years or so, we've always been very close.
Pramiti lived in London with her parents until her mom lost a long fight with breast cancer in November 2020. Then, in May of this year, her dad had a heart attack.
Her exact words were, "I'm trying to save my dad, giving him CPR. My only surviving parent is not breathing."
She actually said that in the moment.
I want you to be here right now.
He died in her arms.
Heartbreaking, shocking.
It feels very surreal. Like, you hear about it on the news, like somebody's been orphaned. You never imagined that something like that could happen to you. And then it does, and it's just like, is this really happening?
Both her parents had left clear instructions in their wills. Pramiti was to go live with her aunt and uncle.
The poor child is having to go through so much. We are trying everything we can, but we are unable to give her the stability and the state and the safety. That is all she's asking for.
They've tried since May to bring her to live with them in Charlotte, but U.S. Immigration has turned down everything they've tried. They tried adopting her, then tried a student visa so she could attend a local private school.
Immigration officer stated that there were not enough substantial ties for her to return back, and she's a potential immigrant, and refused the visa. All because what I feel that we have a simple, rule book which says compassion is not part of that rule book. It's unfortunate.
It just feels like, no matter which way or which direction we go, we're just going to be shut down again. We're trying everything we can, especially my aunt and uncle. They are moving the entire world for me, and it just feels like even that isn't enough, and I just don't know what more they can do. I just need a moment. I'm sorry.
Sushila has been going back and forth to London, taking leave from her job as a CMS math teacher. Pramiti has been shuffling among friends' houses. They've worked with 30 immigration attorneys, Senator Tom Tillis's office, and they are now trying one last thing, applying for what's called humanitarian parole.
And we are going to fight all the way through to make sure that she's going to be with us.
What is your hope?
At this point, just to get some kind of stability until I turn 18 so that I can, build a life for myself and have the means and opportunities to do so like everybody else does.
The family says they are not giving up hope and not giving up the fight. In the meantime, Sushila will continue to fly back and forth to the UK. Pramiti's doing her best to keep up her grades. She says she's considering becoming a lawyer after all of this. Michelle Bowden for WCNC Charlotte.
Switching gears now to your forecast. Once again, live pictures from Freedom Boat Club up in Davidson. Always a pretty sight, but certainly cloudy out there and definitely chilly. KJ brings us the forecast right now. KJ, yeah, a cold, cloudy, but Thursday looks even worse.
That's right, Ben. So we'll have to take advantage of the dry weather now, despite the cloud cover. Yes, it is cold out there as well. Temperatures at 41 coming in right now as we look live over the Queen City. And yeah, this is the difference compared to yesterday. We are 11 degrees cooler right now at the lunch hour in Charlotte, the same in Monroe, the same in Lincolnton, 10 degrees cooler in Hickory. So that means you'll need your coats for this afternoon if you're going to be out and about, and some of you perhaps a scarf and a hat as well, because temperatures will warm up today and we'll see more sunshine into the afternoon, but that's a short window. We're coming up on noon as well, and by 3 o'clock we'll have more sunshine. We may get a 10-degree increase this afternoon, but then sunset around 5 o'clock, and then those temperatures will cool back off into the 30s by dinner time, and then low and mid 30s overnight into the start of your day tomorrow. And yes, we are looking towards a wet midweek. Wednesday as well Thursday, we could pick up 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, which may lead to some flooding concerns out there. So be mindful of it as you will be out and about over the next couple of days. I want to break down the potential rainfall as well. For Wednesday, we do have some scattered showers possible. Thursday looks to be the wettest of the next 2 days. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll have drier weather, also sunny weather. But just wait to see the trade-off on that 7-day forecast because temperatures are going down. Here's an outlook right now as we look at those weather headlines. Soggy the next 2 days, but get ready for a nice sunny weekend. Lots of events happening in and around town. Here's Futurecast. So right now we do have the cloud cover in place, but notice how those clouds will begin to break up as we move into your afternoon. Temperatures won't respond a whole lot today. Tomorrow morning, a cloudy start once again at 8 a.m. By tomorrow afternoon, between 3, 4, and 5 o'clock, that evening rush, we'll likely have some showers across the area. Right now, they are timing out for afternoon in terms of the intensity of the rainfall. Not too heavy, perhaps some light showers tomorrow afternoon, but that will change into your Thursday, beginning with the Thursday morning rush into the Thursday afternoon. Into your Thursday afternoon, we'll have scattered showers. Some of them will be steady, perhaps even heavy rain for the first part of your day on Thursday. The flood risk. Right now it is primarily to our west. Some of you in the foothills as well over into the mountains will have a low to medium risk for some flooding to occur. So be mindful of just some of those typical trouble spots when we get a heavy rain event on some of those roadways that you may have to work around. So add that extra time to your drive in the event we do get some of those heavier showers to set up. Your weekend outlook looks to be pretty bright compared to this past weekend. However, there's the trade-off, right? Temperatures will be much cooler. Overnight lows will be below freezing in the upper 20s and low 30s. Both nights, highs will be below 50 as well. That'll put us below average for your Saturday and Sunday. Guy Roof and 7-day forecast. Looking forward to the Panthers back at home this weekend. We'll need those coats as well as we'll be headed out to Bank of America Stadium with highs in the upper 40s. Here's Larry with that.
At WCNC Charlotte, we really want to make a difference. We have tools like Verify and Where's the Money to really listen to viewers and see what they're struggling with, whether that's trying to get money that you deserve or answering a question that's confusing you. We're not the experts, we're interviewing the experts. And that's why we want to bring it to you so you can see the facts, how we check them, and how we get the answer.
What day is it?
Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Wake Up Charlotte to Go. It's one of those times where you think, wait, what day is it?
I think especially around the holidays, it is just crazy. I can't keep my days straight.
I know.
Last week I told you all day that I had like a half day because I had to go somewhere and it was really the next day. I can't keep anything
Can
straight.
I mention one thing? Somewhere,
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. I was somewhere and they watched this, you know.
Yes.
Oh, Wake Up Charlotte to Go?
Yes. Thank you. And they said, why are you so much taller than them? I said, I'm standing up and they're sitting
I know.
down.
Sometimes people don't realize that.
Yeah.
Even though I don't even know if there would be that, am I that much?
It's not that much of a difference.
I can do. I have done this.
You do that frequently,
Quite
actually.
often.
Yeah.
All right, hey.
Well, because these chairs, the problem, people don't realize these chairs are very tall, so they're treacherous to get in and out of.
And so, I have my jacket in my lap because it's
for
cold.
you and anybody else who's on this side, to get in and out of the chair a lot is a hazard.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where we can sort of hang out for a while.
Yeah, we don't have to move as much.
Glad you guys are hanging out.
Okay, so we're talking about something that's trending this morning in the
locally,
area.
Yeah.
Rowan Salisbury school leaders unanimously signing off on a policy that would require new teaching assistants to also drive school buses. It's all partially due to the fact the district is struggling to find bus drivers.
So let us know this morning, do you think this is a good idea? Because other districts in our area have tried it out, and some say it's been wildly successful. Under this policy, some teaching assistants will be required to be substitute bus drivers when needed. District leaders say it could help out teachers looking to make a little extra cash on the side, especially during the holidays. But there could be some other repercussions.
I think not every TA that wants to go into the business of helping out education and being here for our kids is going to want to drive a bus.
Fair point. You know, a lot of people say, hey, this is a completely different skill set. The same thing that makes you perhaps a good educator is not necessarily the same thing that makes you a good school bus driver. It's not, though, a completely new idea. The district says this was previously in practice. They're simply putting it into formal policy now.
So this morning, again, like Ben said, we want to know, do you think this is the right solution to the bus driver shortage? Just put your comments below. We'll be reading them. We asked you guys this morning, too, during our broadcast. A lot of people messaging in what they thought. One person, these are long, but it's just another way assistants are being abused. That's what one person said. Another person saying if the TAs wanted to be bus drivers, they would be bus drivers. They shouldn't be required to drive buses. This is very similar to requiring the teachers.
And then, like, up in the middle, though, a differing viewpoint. I work for Cleveland County Schools, and it's required for teaching assistants, custodians, and cafeteria workers to obtain a bus license when hired. I am a teaching assistant, and I've been driving the bus for 10 years.
Wow, that's long.
Rowan Salisbury schools shouldn't force people to drive if they don't want to. I think they are now going to find themselves with a shoe of TAs. They should pay up, make the pay competitive with surrounding districts so our drivers will stop quitting to go to other districts. Upper left, here's another contrarian point of view. I really enjoy doing both. I actually make more hourly driving the bus than being a TA. I don't know how the kids get to and from school in Iredell County now. It's nice to have drivers available in the school district for field trips as well. Hadn't thought about that. I like the fact that I personally know people that are going to be driving my bus and kids if I need a sub.
Have you ever driven a school bus? Most people.
No.
It is you know what? I'll tell you how I drove one. At the Speedway, every year they have the bus race, school bus race.
Oh, yes.
And this has been a few years back. But it's racing. It's not going that fast, maybe 30, 40 miles an hour. It's not easy. It's a big, big piece of machinery, and it's not easy to control that. And think about now, you're not playing around on a track. You're out there in traffic with all these kids, so a lot of responsibility.
Kids running around the bus stop, running across the street. I can't imagine. I mean, just trying to imagine putting myself in their shoes, like whoever said earlier in one of the comments, like it's two totally different skill sets. Someone that's maybe great with the kids in the classroom, a great teacher's assistant. I know I would. I don't even like driving on the roads regularly.
That should be voluntary.
I would not be able to drive a school bus. But it is interesting. What county did you say they already have this implemented and they haven't seen a huge loss of TAs?
Looks like Cleveland County. Yeah, Cleveland County.
So that's interesting.
One person pointed out they like the extra pay.
Yeah.
You know, it gives them.
If you can do it, if it doesn't bother you, great. But I just know, even if it was extra pay, like I hate driving.
So much responsibility.
Yes, it is a lot of responsibility.
That's the main issue right there.
Some good training.
You know, back in the day, way back in the day, I remember because I've read this actually. Do you know that high school students used to drive buses?
No way.
Yes, really?
Yeah. In North Carolina.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's
Larry's just a wealth of
I know. I mean,
history.
You think you got some 16, 18.
No.
Yeah.
I can imagine some mistakes might have been made there.
All right, folks, weigh in. We know it's a controversial issue. Some people evidently embracing the idea, saying, hey, it actually works. Other people, not quite so sure. So let us know, and we'll see you back here for another edition of Wake Up Charlotte to go tomorrow morning.
See you then.
A surprise in the courtroom as both sides in the trial of CMPD officer Philip Barker rested their case. Barker is charged with involuntary manslaughter after authorities say he hit and killed James Short while rushing to a call in 2017. Now, despite saying that we would hear from Barker himself, the defense didn't call him nor a single witness to the stand. Now Short's family trusting only our Lexi Wilson with their thoughts as the testimony concludes.
On the Shorts' front porch, Deborah reads her son's favorite Bible verse.
Forgive him so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins. And that's what he lived by. And that's what he would want us to do. And that's going to be very, very difficult. But we will get there because that's what we believe.
She says this is how she wants people to remember her son, James Michael Short, who was hit and killed back in 2017.
Michael was a precious spirit, very precious spirit, a joyful child. He was born smiling.
But as the trial continues, there's frustration here.
James Michael Short was 10 times the man the guy ran him over that night.
Prosecutors have spent a little over 2 days making their case that CMPD officer Philip Barker is guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Monday morning, both sides unexpectedly rested their case. Over the last few days, several witnesses gave their testimony and evidence was presented, including body cam video from the night Short was killed. Throughout testimony, the Shorts say their son has been painted in the wrong light.
Because there was a lot more good than there was irresponsibility.
Now they wait for a verdict to be reached. After 5 years, their time for closure has come. Reporting for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Lexi Wilson.
So far this year, 1.5 million pounds of litter and road debris has been picked up along the streets of Mecklenburg County. That's more than this time last year. A viewer sent us a question about trash along I-485 where new express lanes are going in. So whose responsibility is it to clean up this stretch of road? Wake Up Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
It was this lengthy email from viewer Douglas S. questioning why trash continues to pile up along I-485 near the I-77 interchange around Pineville. That stretch of road is a construction zone that's been active since 2019 as workers add more express lanes. One of the questions he asked us, are contractors required to maintain a clean work site, and who's in charge of picking up the litter? So let's verify. We went straight to the North Carolina Department of Transportation for these questions.
When we're dealing with a high-profile project or active construction project, it's the contractor's responsibility to maintain that area.
NCDOT's Jennifer Thompson tells us until the project is over, contractors maintain that stretch of road.
And we still have a couple of years of construction left, so this is going to be their responsibility while it still maintains it.
She tells us when there is construction on the highways, it's easy for trash to pile up, especially with these barriers in place.
However, after this viewer's question and complaints, Thompson says NCDOT has figured out a solution.
What they're planning to do, from what they've told us, is to kind of ramp up the activity initially to get the cleanup to a more satisfactory level, a more manageable level.
The contractors also plan to have a crew from another subcontractor sweep the entire stretch of the project on a monthly basis.
We hear what this particular viewer has said, and we are working in coordination with the contractor on this 45 project to ensure that that area is cleaned up as much as possible.
So we can verify that contractors are required to maintain a clean work site and pick up the litter. It will be NCDOT's responsibility after the project is complete. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
With your help, WCNC Charlotte is making a difference in our community.
We want people to know it's okay to ask for help.
We are the guardrails to some of these families who are struggling.
We get to present a check for $5,000 via the Techna Foundation.
These people give up their heart and their time, and they don't get anything but thank yous in return.
If you'd like to make a difference, go to WCNC.com/make-a-difference now.
A local nonprofit in our area is helping children and adults who need medical and physical care.
Holy Angels in Belmont offers medical services that no one else in the state really has. And WCNC Charlotte's Larry Sprinkle caught up with the CEO to see how these are a staple for some in the community.
You may have seen the sign Holy Angels driving down Wilkinson Boulevard here in Belmont, or maybe you've even heard the name. The question, what is Holy Angels? The answer to that question starts with the Sisters of Mercy. Back in December 1955, a very desperate mother brought her infant daughter to the Sisters of Mercy in Belmont. This little baby had a list of physical disabilities. Doctors told her mother that she would only live for a few months. Through the amazing commitment of the Sisters of Mercy, Maria Morrow thrived for 54 years.
We are a residential facility that serves adults and children who are differently abled.
Co-founders Mother Mary Benignis Hoban and Sister Patrice Manley work to accommodate additional children with special needs. And for 67 years, Holy Angels has been there.
One of the things that we do really well here is we serve adults and children who have pretty complex medical needs and also complex physical needs as well.
This one-of-a-kind organization offers programs and special services for both children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities and delicate medical conditions. Carrie Massey is the CEO of Holy Angels.
Our residents who have highest needs get to go to school and have a teacher teach them everything a normal kid is being taught. It is a wonderful, happy place.
They have continued to expand other day programs and services to serve more of those in need within the community. Music therapy is a very important part of the day's activities for those who spend their lives at Holy Angels. It gives kids of all ages a chance to enjoy the sounds and to make some music themselves. The Holy Angels Greenhouse offers a great learning opportunity for many of the adults who live on the campus. With the staff assisting, it's all hands-on and a lot of fun. They live, they learn, they have such a special life, and it's all because each one is an angel, and that's really what Holy Angels is all about. Larry Sprinkle, back to you.
And here's another exciting announcement. Janet Jackson will be also hitting that stage at PNC Pavilion. She is in town on May 12, 2023. Luda opening for her. Pre-sale ticket sales start tomorrow.
Verify, WCNC Charlotte.
Verify is all about trying to make a difference in the community by making sure that the community has the correct information. This is what we know, and hey, this is what we don't know. Sometimes you're actually surprised by the answer.
Verify the difference.
Verify is a great way to combat that misinformation, making sure that people know the process of the reporting.
New tonight, CMPD says officers are still trying to piece together what happened last night, leading up to a car striking a person who was walking on East Independence Boulevard, and that person losing their life.
It is a stretch of road WCNC Charlotte has highlighted over the years because of the community's calls for better safety. WCNC Charlotte's Brianna Harper shares drivers' concerns and what's underway to address them.
Multiple lanes, no crosswalks, and not a lot of lighting. Those are just some of the contributing factors that make Independence Boulevard one of the most dangerous roadways for pedestrians, and that was proven in yet another deadly crash. A crash scene painted in police lights as investigators pieced together this latest pedestrian crash. It was around 8 o'clock Sunday night when officers responded to a call that a person had been hit by a car near the Walmart on Independence Boulevard. That victim later died at the hospital.
Sympathies go out to their family and even the driver, because it's going to take a toll on them as well.
It's a sad reality of the risk people take crossing Independence Boulevard. Yet drivers like Marie Jones sees no sign of it stopping soon.
It's really dangerous, especially when they do it at nighttime and you can't see them. It's been a couple of times I had to pump my brakes so I didn't hit somebody, but it's been going on for years.
State records show from 2016 to 2020, there have been at least 26 crashes involving pedestrians along Independence Boulevard and the stretch between I-77 and I-485. 8 of those crashes were deadly.
It's unfortunate that some people don't know to wear bright colored clothing or, have a flashlight and need to be aware of that.
In 2020, NCDOT worked to complete a pedestrian safety study along Independence Boulevard to help identify improvements, but found there's no easy or immediate fix.
It's a difficult corridor because the corridor is very wide, has a lot of lanes in both directions. A lot of traffic, the speeds can be fairly high.
And without crosswalks, people often take the chance of making their own.
You don't have a car, you live in the area, you have to get from one side to the next and there's nowhere else to cross.
And unfortunately, in most cases, the outcome could cost you your life.
Just all about being aware of your surroundings.
And so far, CMPD has not released the name of the person who was killed or said whether or not the person accused of hitting that person will face any charges. Reporting in East Charlotte, Brianna Harper, WCNC, Charlotte.
A nonprofit helping other nonprofits has been making a big impact across our region. Aparo connecting corporations with organizations that need their help. And WCNC Charlotte's Michelle Bowden shows us how they are seeking solutions.
Aparo has been in Charlotte doing their work sort of behind the scenes and very quietly for 16 years. Now, though, they're really hoping to get the word out so they can do more.
In this church off Sugar Creek Road, they're training people for some pretty in-demand jobs.
Absolutely. They are going through the roof right now. We get calls all the time for staff. These are considered occupations in demand right now.
Omit Innovative Solutions. Omit stands for On-Site, Off-Site Mechanical, Industrial, Technical Training, is a nonprofit that takes people who are formerly incarcerated and trains them to be construction, electrical, HVAC, and plumbing workers. But as a nonprofit, they don't always have what they need.
We don't have the money, which is why Aparo is such a blessing for us. We didn't have a computer lab a few years ago.
Aparo is another Charlotte-based nonprofit. Their mission, literally to help build up other nonprofits.
We help other nonprofits in the greater Charlotte community with technology, guidance, advice, resources, education. We've got so many resources and connections in the community around technology and support. We were able to work with Duke Energy to fund buying laptops for Omit and also using their skilled volunteers, a few of their employees, to actually set up the computers.
They're about to celebrate 20 years of helping in Charlotte, working with 200 nonprofits a year.
It's allowed us to soar. It's allowed us to increase our capacity with the people that we serve.
Oh my God, it's amazing. All these touch points that we're having with nonprofits, we're transforming them.
In Charlotte, Michelle Bowden, WCNC Charlotte.
Switching gears now to your forecast. Once again, live pictures from Freedom Boat Club up in Davidson. Always a pretty sight, but certainly cloudy out there and definitely chilly. KJ brings us the forecast right now. KJ, yeah, a cold, cloudy, but Thursday looks even worse.
That's right, Ben. So we'll have to take advantage of the dry weather now despite the cloud cover. Yes, it is cold out there as well. Temperatures at 41 coming in right now as we look live over the Queen City. And yeah, this is the difference compared to yesterday. We are 11 degrees cooler right now at the lunch hour in Charlotte, the same in Monroe, the same in Lincolnton, 10 degrees cooler in Hickory. So that means you'll need your coats for this afternoon if you're going to be out and about, and some of you perhaps a scarf and a hat as well, because temperatures will warm up today and we'll see more sunshine into the afternoon, but that's a short window. We're coming up on noon as well, and by 3 o'clock we'll have more sunshine. We may get a 10-degree increase this afternoon, but then sunset around 5 o'clock, and then those temperatures will cool back off into the 30s by dinner time, and then low and mid 30s overnight into the start of your day tomorrow. And yes, we are looking towards a wet midweek. Wednesday as well as Thursday, we could pick up 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, which may lead to some flooding concerns out there. So be mindful of it as you will be out and about over the next couple of days. I want to break down the potential rainfall as well. For Wednesday, we do have some scattered showers possible. Thursday looks to be the wettest of the next 2 days. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll have drier weather, also sunny weather. But just wait to see the trade-off on that 7-day forecast because temperatures are going down. Here's an outlook right now as we look at those weather headlines. Soggy the next 2 days, but get ready for a nice sunny weekend. Lots of events happening in and around town. Here's Futurecast. So right now we do have the cloud cover in place, but notice how those clouds will begin to break up as we move into your afternoon. Temperatures won't respond a whole lot today. Tomorrow morning, a cloudy start once again at 8 a.m. By tomorrow afternoon, between 3, 4, and 5 o'clock, that evening rush will likely have some showers across the area. Right now, they are timing out for afternoon in terms of the intensity of the rainfall. Not too heavy, perhaps some light showers tomorrow afternoon, but that will change into your Thursday, beginning with the Thursday morning rush into the Thursday afternoon. Into your Thursday afternoon, we'll have scattered showers. Some of them will be steady, perhaps even heavy rain for the first part of your day on Thursday. The flood risk. Right now it is primarily to our west. Some of you in the foothills as well over into the mountains will have a low to medium risk for some flooding to occur. So be mindful of just some of those typical trouble spots when we get a heavy rain event on some of those roadways that you may have to work around. So add that extra time to your drive in the event we do get some of those heavier showers to set up. Your weekend outlook looks to be pretty bright compared to this past weekend. However, there's the trade-off, right? Temperatures will be much cooler. Overnight lows will be below freezing in the upper 20s and low 30s. Both nights, highs will be below 50 as well. That'll put us below average for your Saturday and Sunday. Guy Roof and 7-day forecast. Looking forward to the Panthers back at home this weekend. We'll need those coats as well as we'll be headed out to Bank of America Stadium with highs in the upper 40s. Here's Larry with that.
WCNC Charlotte.
Weather is a kind of science that you get to see and experience every day. And I think some people don't even realize how much it affects them. That weather has a huge impact on how it threatens your family, your livelihood, or your home. So I think it really is one of those defining things we do that really affects everybody in our community.
See the difference.
That process of giving you a warning ahead of time and keeping you and your family safe is really important to me because I live here too. It's my family, it's my friends, it's my neighbors.
Well, today is the last day to use the IRS Free File website. It allows people with incomes under $73,000 to file or amend their federal taxes for free. But does that mean you can't amend your 2021 tax return after today? Wake Up Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
The IRS recently sent letters to 9 million families that may have missed out on 2021 tax credits like child tax credits, stimulus payments, or other benefits. With the IRS Free File program ending November 17th, does that mean you only have until today to amend your 2021 taxes to get those benefits? Our source is Mark Stieber, Chief Tax Information Officer for Jackson Hewitt and the IRS. The IRS Free File is available for people who make $73,000 or less as a way to file or amend federal tax returns.
They're turning that system off for 2022 so they can start the rebuild for 2023.
But just because you might have missed that deadline doesn't mean you can't amend your tax return for last year.
But what taxpayers need to know is if you didn't get your full benefits on your 2021 tax return, you still can do that.
In fact, Americans have 3 years to amend their tax returns and receive any benefits that they didn't claim originally. According to the IRS, 9 million Americans potentially have unclaimed money, and Stieber says with the 2021 tax year offering more benefits like increased child tax credits, you could have more money waiting for you.
You can still get those benefits. So if you have any reason to suspect that you didn't get all your credits or all your stimulus monies, go see a tax pro.
So we can verify no, just because the IRS is ending their Free File program for 2021 doesn't mean you can't still get unclaimed benefits from that year. Stieber says you can amend your return on your own, but if you're not sure what you're doing, you might want to ask a tax professional for help. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
There is still time to donate to the Magical Toy Drive. We're collecting new unwrapped toys for the Salvation Army so kids can have a great holiday season.